Alrighty, in this video we're going to look at how to spy on your competitors' digital marketing and see how well it's working for them. Really key focus of digital marketing here, because if you know that a particular company in your niche is doing really well, you can just see what they're doing, duplicate the same thing, and if you do the same thing you will get the same results. Most of the time though, what we'll find is that actually even the really prominent players in the market are leaving some fairly significant holes. So it's important to find those holes, and obviously once you fill them, you're in a position to then overtake if necessary. So the goal of this session is to show you how to unpick your competitors' organic and paid digital marketing so that you can steal the good bits and exploit the bad bits. For those who don't know me, my name's Tim Cameron Kitchen, head ninja at Exposure Ninja and best-selling digital marketing author. I've been at the forefront of online marketing since 2008, both running my own companies and working with client companies, in particular through Exposure Ninja, which I've been running since 2012 or late 2012. And in that time, our services, books, training and consultancy has helped over 10,500 businesses. And we've gone from 3 to 60 staff in 5 years. So it's been quite a ride. Anyway, today's session, what's the plan of action? Well, firstly, we'll go through a bit of an introduction. I want to talk about the importance of data in competitor analysis. Then we'll go through some key principles and start looking at which elements we're going to be deconstructing. We're going to be doing lots of live demonstrations as well. So I'm going to show you some examples in the presentation, and then we're going to go over to the internet and I'm going to start digging around and showing you some bits and bobs there as well. But firstly, I want to talk about the importance of tools and data. Now, obviously, competitor analysis is one of those things where there is such a vast amount of information available, right? There are billions of web pages out there, billions of searches happening every month, loads of links and all of this stuff. And there are a lot of competitor analysis tools out there which profess to give data which can help you in your analysis. Now, some of those are useful, some more than others. On the whole, data is important. So looking at things like average search volumes, looking at traffic trends and search volume trends and stuff like that is useful and can be something that can guide you as you go through. The danger is something that I call the illusion of exact numbers. So if you go into Google Keyword Planner, for example, and you say how many people have searched for trip to Australia, right? You'll get an exact number. Well, that number, it's exact, but that doesn't mean that's how many people are going to search for it in the last month. That doesn't necessarily mean that's, it might not even be accurate at all. I'm going to show you some examples now of how the illusion of an exact number, the more digits there are after the number, the more it appears to be precise and the more we trust it. Or sometimes trusting pure data can actually throw us way off the scent, and it's actually much more efficient to use a combination of data and common sense. So let's take a look at one example. What I wanted to do is compare some of the competitor analysis tools out there just to see what sort of data they were throwing up. So the comparison I did was on a particular e-commerce site which we work with. So here is the Alexa data. So Alexa is one of the most trusted, competitor analysis tools out there. The thing that I'm most interested in here is this search traffic number. So say that you're a competitor to this e-commerce site and you wanted to find out how much of their traffic was coming from SEO, because you were considering jumping into SEO yourself and you wanted to see, how well is it working for them, what are they doing, and then you can replicate it. So you might head over to Alexa, which is one of the most trusted of all, and you might say, okay, put the website in, and it tells you that 27.60% of their traffic is coming from search. So that's 27.60. That's not 27, that's not 30. It's not even 27.6. There are 2 decimal places there indicating a high confidence of accuracy in that number. So you might say, okay, cool, well that looks, pretty specific. They could have just said, oh, it's around about a third, or it's around about 25%, but they didn't. They said it's 27.60. So you trust that. But then you head over to SimilarWeb, which is another competitor analysis tool, and again, very trusted. I was doing a podcast recently with one of the digital marketers from one of the most prominent SEO tools in the world. He said, love SimilarWeb for the competitor analysis. But we plugged the same website into SimilarWeb, and what does it tell us? It tells us that 36.28% of their traffic is coming from search. 36.28. Well, that sounds pretty specific as well. That sounds very exact. There's not even a zero at the end of that one. That sounds absolutely like it must be on the money. So maybe that's the more accurate one. So then we try another one, SpyFu. Now SpyFu won't tell us the percentage coming from search, but what it will do is it'll estimate the number of monthly SEO clicks. So this is estimating the number of clicks that this website is getting per month from Google organically. And it says 4.3 thousand. Okay, so again, that's not 4,000, that's 4.3 thousand. Now, in SpyFu's defense, it says estimated. So we'd have to take that with a pinch of salt. Then we head over to SEMrush. This is the tool that we use at Exposure Ninja most often for this sort of thing. And it again gives us a monthly estimate of the amount of traffic that this site is getting from search. And it says 80.1%. 80.1 thousand, so 80,100. So SpyFu says 4,300. SEMrush says 80,000. That's like a difference of 20x, right? That's pretty significant. So we've got a bunch of different numbers all telling us different things. We've got 27%, we've got 36%, we've got 4.3 thousand, we've got 80,000. Here are the actual stats, right? The actual stats from this site's Google Analytics. So this is accurate data. Organic search doesn't make 80,000, it doesn't make 4,000, it makes 90,000 people per month, right? 90,000 sessions per month. It's not 27% of their traffic, it's not 36% of their traffic, it's 74.74%. So if you'd seen that 27% of their traffic was coming from SEO, you might say, well, it's not really a main source of traffic for them, so I'm maybe not going to focus on it so much for my business. Actually, to them, it's completely everything. SEO has been the driving force for their business for the last 3 years, right? Solely SEO. SEO is how they get all of their new upfront business. So you might have looked at these competitor analysis tools and said, oh, only 4,300 clicks a month. You might have made some extrapolations from that about how much they might be earning from it. You might have decided it's not a business worth going into, or you might have decided that SEO isn't something that you'd want to try. Completely different picture. So it's really important that when we're looking at these data stats, particularly if they look like an exact number, that we take them with not just a pinch of salt, but a massive bucket full of salt. There are really two types of data. The first is measured or exact data. So that Google Analytics stuff that we looked at, that is exact data. That is being measured. That is being reported in the same place that it's being measured. Okay, so analytics code is tracking it, and then the analytics code is reporting it. The other type of data is extrapolated or guesstimate data. So that is the search traffic, right, from these other tools. So they're looking at where does this site rank, how many people on average are searching for these terms, where the site's ranking multiplied by how many people would normally click on a website in that position, times by the number of searches gives this approximate thing. So it's being measured in one place, it's being measured on Google, but it's not being reported on Google, it's being reported by some human-made algorithm, which is making, in some cases, a bit of a hash of it. So it's fine to use these things as like indicators, but absolutely don't rely on them. You've got to recognize when you're looking at one type of data or the other. So is the thing that measured this number the thing that's reporting it? If it's not, there's going to be errors. So we like to use data like a metal detector. When you're looking for something on the beach or in a field or something, you're running around with the metal detector, and when it starts beeping, you go, ooh, that's interesting, and then you start digging, and then you dig, and then you pick the thing out, and then you look at it with your eyes. It's exactly the same with data. So use it to find, oh, this looks interesting, and then you start digging in, and then you use your experience, you use your intelligence and your common sense, because that's all this is. You just use your common sense to say, what am I actually looking at, and what do I need to do as a result of this? So let's start looking through the competitor analysis process. And the first thing that we always do is we analyze the website of our competitors. Here's the Exposure Ninja Digital Marketing Circle, which you're probably familiar with by now. The website is at the center, you'll notice. It's always at the center, because it doesn't matter how effective the campaign is, it doesn't matter how much traffic they're driving. If the website is poor, if the website's not converting, all of that is for nothing. By the same token, if the website isn't well optimized, for example, for SEO, that site's not going to rank. So the website is the first thing that we look at, and it's where we spend the majority of the time early on. So I'm going to show you a quick website analysis process. The first thing that you want to look at when you're judging someone's website is the first impression. Now, the first impression can be guided. Obviously, it's completely subjective. So there are a few questions that you can ask to get a feel for first impressions. Now, if you're in any doubt, ask your mum. Does this website look like something you would put your debit card info into? Now, people in my generation, more trusting. People in the younger generation, even more trusting. If in doubt, ask your mum. Mum, would you put your debit card information into this website? Oh no, it looks a bit iffy, looks a bit strange. That bit's all folded over at the end. There's some text overlapping there. Oh, this looks a bit dodgy, right? That's literally the conversation that people are having in their heads. So if your site doesn't look completely trustworthy, modern, clean, professional, people aren't going to put their contact information or their credit card information into it. Even if it's not an e-commerce site that's taking payment, doesn't matter. The fact is, if they don't trust it enough to put personal information into it, they're not going to trust the business as much as they could either. Another question to ask, based on the first impressions of the website, how successful is this company? Are there visible indicators that they are doing well? For example, are there logos of brands that they've worked with? Are there successful testimonials? Are there pictures of people? Or does this look a little bit shady, a little bit kind of broken, and you're not too sure really what's going on? If you're not too sure what's going on, this is going to be something that their visitors are picking up on as well. Do they look like a safe bet? Do they look, the old IBM logo, no one ever got fired for choosing IBM. That's the thing that you want to, that's the feeling that you want from your website, or when you're having a look at your competitors, that's the feeling that you don't want to get from their website. They don't look like a safe bet. Let me just show you the difference in perception. Now I'm going to be using some pretty extreme examples here. The first one, right, so here's the website that was originally sent to us. So what's the perception of this business? Would you put your debit card info into it? Not really, it looks pretty out of date. The copyright thing at the bottom at this point was 6 years out of date, so it looks like the business might be dead. There's no information about what they do, where they're based. There's not really any information at all, so really not trustworthy. Compare that to this site, which is the site that we ended up building for them. Obviously very different impression. We got the pictures of people there. Now, pictures of people on a website work a bit like seeing people in a restaurant, right? They trigger that thing in our heads that says, okay, this is a busy site. People are spending time on this site. Super basic, but it works. There's product information, right? There's different types of products. You can immediately see what they sell. You can see some information at the bottom of the site about who they are and what they do, right? Very different impression of the business, purely based on the design and layout of the website. That's really important. Another thing that we like to do is use Homer Simpson as a visitor avatar. So imagine that Homer Simpson is visiting your competitors' websites. Now, they'll always say, yeah, but our customer is sensible, our customer's intelligent, our customer knows what they want. Homer Simpson's not an accurate representation at all. I understand and I disagree. The reason we use Homer Simpson is not because he's stupid, but because your visitors and the visitors to your competitors' sites are rushed, they're in between meetings, they're stressed, they've got 1,000 tabs open, they've just spilled food down themselves, the cat's being sick, the baby's crying, they had an argument with their husband or wife this morning, whatever it might be, they are busy and rushed. They don't have the time to spend on a website that people think they do. And they have no prior knowledge of the business, so they're not coming in with any understanding at all. So Homer Simpson is the model. Now Homer's got three main questions whenever he lands on a website. So these are the questions you should ask about your competitors too. Does this business do what I need? So this is a ballpark question. Is this even going to solve the sort of problem I'm after? Am I even in the right place? That needs to be absolutely clear immediately. Are they right for me? So with the particular criteria that I have, whether it's location, whether it's price, whether it's, the particular product or service I need, does this business actually do that? So not only am I in the right ballpark, but does this look like the sort of company that I should be working with? And then the third question, once they get a bit further down the line, is what makes them better or different? So at this stage, they're trying to justify logically the decision to do business with you. Okay, so these are the three questions that you should be able to answer from your competitor's sites. If you can't, that indicates that their messaging isn't as clear as it should be, and then that's an opportunity for you to go in with a really well laid out website which answers all of these questions in the headlines and images on your site, and you can snap up more of that business. Here's an example of a website. So let's say that this is one of our competitors and we're analyzing them. The headline there is the height of expertise. The subheadline is welcome to High Access, where we take safety, speed and service to the highest level. No matter how specialist the job or project, our in-house team of work at height experts will keep your business moving. View our services is a little button there. Okay, so what does this business do? Remember the 3 questions. Does this business do what I need? Well, that's a really difficult question to ask here. There's no mention of what they do at all. Right, there are some people wearing red hats. They don't look like they've got any equipment from here. They've got these red cables. So it could be something to do with abseiling. High Access, the name sounds a bit strange. Maybe they're breaking in. No idea. Does this business do what I need? Not a clue. Are they right for me? So where are they based? No idea. We've got a little thing at the top that says Slough Depot. So that indicates that maybe they're in Slough. Well, if I'm in Edinburgh, does that mean they work for me? No idea. Don't think so. Probably not. What makes them different, right? The only question that they're trying to address on this homepage is the what makes them different. The height of expertise, right? They're trying to position themselves as better because they have expertise. Well, the trouble is they haven't quantified this in any way at all. They've just said, oh yeah, we just take it to the highest level. It's completely generic. Anyone in their market could say this about them. Well, actually, this company does maintenance and cleaning for the commercial property sector. Right, that's pretty clear. It says it on their About Us page, but for some reason they've decided that they need to make their homepage this strange riddle that visitors need to follow in order to unlock the secret to find out what they actually do in the first place. It's completely wrong. If I was looking for someone to solve my particular problem, I had a building that needed cleaning, I'd skip straight over these because they expect me to do the work to find out what they do. Right? Imagine Homer Simpson, 10,000 tabs, kids screaming, baby sick. Imagine he's not going to spend their time digging around on this to find the answer. Just not going to happen. Here's another site. So these guys have decided to reduce the amount of text on their page to make it more visual. They want to let their pictures do the talking. Well, the trouble is it doesn't actually tell the visitor anything about what this business does at all. So a competitor might look at this site and say, oh yeah, really good looking site. Maybe we need our website to be redesigned. Well, the thing that they've completely missed here is the fact that what they actually do, right? They're cloud services for small and medium-sized businesses. There's a little thing that says cloud services there at the bottom, but it's a picture of people in a meeting. Sky News looks like something to do with finance. Our Success Stories looks like something to do with real estate. Looks like those people are being shown around a home. And what is cloud hosting is a picture which is going to be quite confusing to small and medium-sized businesses who might be intimidated by the technology side of things, because it's just a big picture of racks of servers, which looks very technical and very confusing. So very unclear what they do. They've decided to remove all of the useful text that's going to make people understand their business at all, and just say, hey, we just want to let our pictures do the talking. So if you see this sort of thing, then it's time to get excited, because it means that your competitors aren't doing a good job of turning a visitor into a lead. Here's another example. This is a site that we built. So what does this business do? Well, they do self-employed mortgages, right? This is actually not even their homepage. This is a sub-page. It's laid out fantastically, if I may say so ourselves. So self-employed mortgages, really clear. Nice call to action. So remember Homer's 3 questions. Does this business do what I need? Self-employed mortgage. Yeah, cool. Right, got it. Are they right for me? Self-employed, struggling to get your mortgage. Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar. Our mortgage advisors help you get the home you want without the stress. Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds good for me. Why choose? Why should I choose them? What makes them different? Well, you can see there at the bottom, why choose our self-employed mortgage advisors? So we've got some information. We've also got a nice clear call to action on the right-hand side, taking people to the next step. Right? So that sort of layout, if you see that sort of thing, you know your competitors are switched on, you know they know what they're doing, they're converting people. This site would have a far superior conversion rate to the other sites. So this is a sort of level that you need to be playing at as well. Here's another example. This is a landing page. So remember the 3 questions. Does this business do what I need? Are they right for me? And the third question is, what makes them different? So you see that little box at the bottom there, the little blue one. We can help you. Whatever the size of your organization, Davis Associates can help you select, develop, and coach and train the best people. That immediately sets the scene. It tells you what this business is about. We've got a nice clear headline and the free no obligation consultation to take a nice easy next step. So that's how you'd analyze their websites. Now, we want to help you improve your website's performance completely free of charge. If you haven't done this already, then head over to ninjareview.co.uk and we will take a look through your website and judge it by the criteria that I've just been looking at and the criteria that we're going to be looking at for the rest of the presentation as well. And we'll also have a look at some of your competitors too. So definitely do that. It's really good. It's done by a person. This is not some automated software thing. I wish it was, because then we wouldn't have to spend so much money on people doing these reviews. But they're really useful. Check it out on Facebook. We've had a lot of 5-star reviews as a result of this. Cool. Right, so that's analysing the websites, and we'll have a look at some real life examples in just a few minutes. Now, next stage, having a look at their SEO. Okay, so on-site SEO, how the website is optimized, the sort of keywords that it's using. This is really important because to a large extent this will define where the website ranks, which will define how much traffic it gets, which will define how much money they make. So let's first talk about keywords. A keyword is a search term. For example, plumbers in Chicago, right? So what do we know about that person who's searching? Well, we know they need a plumber. We know that they're based in Chicago. Right? Why does it hurt when I pee? Every keyword has an intent behind it. So what do we know about this person? Well, they might be looking for information, right? They might be looking for a Frank Zappa song. So every keyword has different possible intentions behind it. Diamond rings. So what do we know about that person? Well, not really too much. They might be looking to buy a diamond ring. They might be looking for information about diamond rings. They might have a presentation. They might need pictures of diamond rings. Their friend might have just got engaged. They might want to find out how much the diamond ring cost, right? So it might be a commercial phrase where someone actually wants to buy, and it might just be an informational phrase. So this is what we call a broad keyword. Keywords can also be a little bit more exact. So for example, platinum diamond engagement rings. That's someone searching for a platinum diamond engagement ring. So what do we know about them? We know that they know the type of metal that they want, and we know that they have a very specific, event for this. So this is a phrase that would have more commercial intent. This person is more likely to buy because they're being more specific. Now, obviously, fewer people are going to search for platinum diamond engagement rings than are going to search for diamond rings. So a lot of people would say, well, if we could rank for one or the other, we want to rank for diamond rings. Well, that may or may not be the right approach to take. Actually, a phrase like this might be more profitable. For example, if you're running some adverts for those two phrases, diamond rings is probably going to get you some lower quality traffic as well as some high quality traffic. Platinum diamond engagement rings probably going to be, on the whole, higher quality traffic, more profitable to rank for. What about a phrase like platinum diamond rings, 2-carat next day delivery UK? Well, we know this person knows what ring they want. We know that they want a 2-carat, and we know that they want next day delivery, and they're based in the UK. This person is about to go on holiday. They forgot to get the ring, or they hadn't decided to get the ring, or whatever. They've decided it's the right time. This person is about to buy, probably in the next hour or so. So, very low traffic phrase. Maybe one person searches for this a month. Maybe not even anybody searches for this per month. But if someone searches for that phrase and you sell platinum diamond engagement rings 2-carat, you want to be showing for that phrase, because that is a buyer. So we have to think about keywords. We have to think about how likely someone is to buy as a result of this, and I'll show you some tools which analyze this in a couple minutes. So once we've had a think about the keywords that we want to show up for, and again I'll show you some tools to measure keywords in just a minute. Where do we need our keywords to show up? Well, one of the primary things that we look at when we're judging a competitor's site is their page titles. Now, the page title is word for word the most important SEO element of the site. The page title is what Google shows in search results. For example, here. So here's a typical Google search result. It will look very familiar to you. The blue bit there, by John Lewis, double satin ribbon, 5 meters, separator John Lewis. That blue bit is the page title. So every page on your site has a page title. It's very important, and including your keywords in your page titles is absolutely crucial. So when we're analysing a competitor's on-site SEO, we want to take particular attention to these page titles. Now, in particular, the page title used on their homepage can be very useful, because this often tells us the sort of keywords which they want the whole website to rank for. So it can give us an indication as to which phrases they find to be the most profitable for them. So a good kind of model for a page title is to use the main target keyword at the start of the page title, a quick description of the business and some compelling benefits if you have room, and then the brand name at the end. Basically, it's an opportunity for people to sell the business in 60 characters. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some page titles. Firstly, I want to show you how to find them. So you open up a website, you right click, and where it says view source, you click on that, and you will get a little window which looks like this. It might take up the whole screen. It might just take up part of the screen if you're on Safari. You're looking for the section that starts with that little title bracket, right? That little triangle title bracket. That's the place that you want to look for first when you're analysing your competitors. So you can see the page title here is Outdoor School Playground Equipment, Pentagon Play. That's a pretty decent page title, I know, because we wrote it. They're trying to rank for the phrase Outdoor School Playground Equipment, and their brand name is Pentagon Play. Okay? Simple. That's a good page title. They know what they're doing. So if you see your competitors using optimized page titles, you know it's good. Let's do a quick test just to see what we think of some page titles I'm going to show you. So we're going to see the page title, you decide whether you think it's good or bad, and then we'll talk about it. Lovegrove Design and Photography. Good or bad page title? Okay, so remember we want to have our main target keywords at the start of the phrase. So Lovegrove Design and Photography. Firstly, it's too short. Remember, we've got 60 characters. Secondly, design and photography, very ambiguous phrase. We don't know what sort of design, we don't know what sort of photography. Thirdly, the brand name is at the start, Lovegrove. We should get that at the end. It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is showing up for the keyword that they want to show up for. There's no mention of location. There's no mention of any specific benefits. Nothing really at all. So that's a very poor page title. How about this one? We see this one a lot. Home, Ingenta Connect. Now, I first used this as an example 2 years ago. It's still on their website. There's a very common problem. People think that the phrase they want to rank for more than anything is the word home. Right? Clearly not. That's just their homepage. They'd be much better off using their main target keyword at the start instead. Very, very poor page title. How about this one? Corporate Events and Venue Management, Banks Sadler. Well, this one's good. It's pretty good. They've got their main target keywords there, corporate events and venue management. Those are the services that they want to rank for. Then they've got their brand name. Good stuff. So page titles, really, really important. If you see a competitor that doesn't have good page titles, if they've got the word home or they're really short, or they don't include their target keywords, get excited because it shows that their sites aren't performing as well as they could be. Now let's talk about text content. Text is how Google reads the internet. So we saw that homepage earlier that had very, very little text on. Complete disaster because not only can Google not read it, but also if a human lands on that website, shock horror, the human needs information, right? Pictures do a bit of talking, but they don't sell you anything. So text is how people read the internet. Use the language that your customers use. So this is all about talking about the keywords. So keywords are useful for SEO, but they're also useful for marketing because if someone's searching for example, boiler repair, that's the phrase they've got in their mind. So if you use that phrase, boiler repair, on your website, you're talking the language that your customers use. And it's really, really important to talk in the language that your customers use because that's an immediate way to get rapport. But it's really important that you use keywords naturally. What you don't want to be doing is saying, if you need boiler repair in Nottingham, one of our boiler repair specialists will fix your boiler in Nottingham very quickly. Our rapid response boiler repair services are suitable for all types of boilers. If you need it repaired, then contact, it sounds completely unnatural. So use your keywords, use the related phrases, use the language that your customers use, and just use it in a natural way. Talk as if you were talking to someone, because that's how people like to read. Also a good idea to write as much as is useful to your target audience on each page. So if your page has 3 lines and you're trying to sell a product on an e-commerce, you got an e-commerce product page, you got 3 lines of text. Is that going to be enough to sell the product? No, it's not. If you had someone in front of you talking about that product, how much would they say? What are the main questions people would have about that product? You want to make sure you answer those. So you want to have a good amount of text on each page. You want to present it nicely so that people actually want to read it. Typically, you want to aim for at least 200 to 300 words of text per page. So if you're struggling to think about what you should write about, you can talk about the benefits, you can talk about typical uses, you can answer the most common questions. So when you're analysing your competitor sites, if you see that they have a very small amount of text, again, get excited because it means they're going to be underperforming in search, and it also means they're not going to be converting as many of their visitors as they should be. You should also look out for them using their target keywords in their main headings, so the main headline on the page, and naturally throughout. So for example, let's say that we're analysing the plumbing market and we see a page like this. Well, this is a good page, a high performing page. We built this page what you see here, I've shown you particularly, underneath that services drop down, you've got all of the different services that this business offers. Right, this page is about gas safety certificates, which is just one service that they offer. Now, most plumbers would just put all of their services on one page. But this is a bad idea. Why is it a bad idea? Two reasons. Firstly, that's not enough information about that specific service to really make someone want to buy it, right? We're talking here about the gas safety certificates. There's a lot of questions that people might have, so we need to answer all of those questions. And those questions are specific to gas safety certificates. So there's enough text to answer all of the questions. The second reason it's a good idea to have a separate page targeting each of your products or services is because that means you can write enough copy on that page to show Google, hey, this page deserves to rank for this phrase. This page has good information about this phrase, which is really what we want to do. So we can make sure we include our target keywords in the headings, in the page titles, throughout the copy, use the variations, all of that. If we have a separate page for each one, it's much easier to do that than if you've only got one or two lines about a service, which might end up costing, loads of money. We see, you see plumbers and they've got a bathroom installation paragraph on their website. Would you invite someone to come and install your bathroom based on one sentence? Absolutely not. No way. And they wonder why their websites aren't performing. So again, if you're looking through your competitor sites and you see they don't have very many pages or they lump loads of stuff onto one page, loads of different services, you know their site's going to be underperforming, and that's something to get excited about. Let's talk about e-commerce, because e-commerce has its own set of rules. Now, e-commerce sites need enough text on category and product pages. So here's an example of a category page. On Bath Store, I have a lot of, I like Bath Store's SEO. I like their website layout quite a lot. It's a little bit old-fashioned, but I think it's been well done. Now, you'll notice at the top of this page, this is the baths page, they have some text. Now, the text says, get started with our bath buyer's guide, and there's actually a link through to click on the bath buyer's guide. Why do they have this text on the category page? We know what a bath is. Well, again, two reasons. We have text on the bath page because this is a page that we would want to rank on Google for the phrase baths. Google's not going to rank a page if it doesn't have any text. So it needs to have some text if this page is going to rank. That's the first reason. The second reason is you might get people landing on this page that have never shopped for a bath before. They don't know the different types. They need a bit of help. So something like this bath buyer's guide, really useful. Help them find the product that they need, which again is a way to build rapport, trust, and to get the sale. So e-commerce sites need enough text on these category pages and also on the product pages. The text must be unique even if the product isn't. So a lot of the time you'll see that a lot of people in a particular market are all selling the same products, right? They're getting them from the same distributors and they're just reselling them. What a mistake that a lot of them will make is they'll all include the same description from the manufacturer or from the distributor. Well, Google's looking at all of these different sites selling the same product with the same descriptions. How does it decide which one to rank best? Well, if you've just got another Me Too site with the same product, the same text, what's the chances of you winning that war? Right? You don't have a chance at all. Right? You need an advantage. You need a reason why you should rank your competitors. Outrank your competitors. So talk about the benefits of the product. Maybe do a video review, transcribe the video review, get some customer testimonials on there, get some reviews from people, get some examples of it in real life situations, talk about the benefits a bit more. Most people don't sell enough on their e-commerce product pages and it kills them. So product pages need good descriptions and reviews. What I want to show you now is how much text Google uses on a product page for a £1.99 book. Right? I've seen luxury startups trying to sell £2,000 pairs of shoes with 3 lines of copy for the shoe, right? Not going to work at all. Look at what Amazon has done. Look at how much text there is here. So we've got information about the product. We've got customers who bought this also bought. Lots of more information there. We've got reviews. We've got bestseller rankings. We've got information about the manufacturer, or in this case, the author. And then we've got all of these user-generated reviews. And there are loads and loads of them, 171 in this case. That's how much work Amazon is doing to sell a £1.99 product. So if you go on your competitors' sites, your competitors' e-commerce sites, and you see that they've got a few lines of text trying to sell a product, you know you've got an opportunity to move on that market and beat them in that area. Let's talk about blogs, and then we're going to look at some sites, I promise. Every website should have a blog, but every single site. There's absolutely no exception. People get hung up on what they should be posting about. They worry about, I don't have anything interesting to say. And then what they end up doing, you'll see typically a few posts on a blog. The first post will be, our new website's live. When they got really excited, they were like, yeah, we're going to blog all the time. They post one time, our new website's live. Great, come and see it. Meaningless to the audience, doesn't mean anything at all. Everybody just completely bypasses it. Total trash, don't do it. And then the next post will be, oh, we've just hired someone new. And it's just a piece of internal news, which again has absolutely no relevance to the outside world. It's not going to make any of their customers or visitors buy from them more often at all. It's completely meaningless. Don't do it. And then you might have some other news about, maybe we've done a charity thing, and we're giving all this money to charity and we're doing the event. It's awesome that you're doing stuff for charity, but that's not the sort of stuff which is necessarily going to entice visitors to buy from you. So what should your blog really be about? Well, each of your blog posts should answer one audience question in as much detail as you possibly can. The point of the blog is to answer questions so that you can show up when someone types in that question on Google, you have a blog post which shows up for that question. So imagine, let's say that we're a plumber and you're stuck for stuff to write. You're like, I just do ordinary jobs all day, every day. And okay, so what are the common questions that your audience asks? Well, they often ask about combi boilers. Okay, sweet. So you go over to Google, type in combi boilers versus, and then you get all of these little searches here. Combi boiler versus conventional boiler. There's a blog post title. Combi boiler versus conventional boiler. Which one should I get and how much do they cost? Right, so what we're going to do here, we're just going to write a really complete answer to that question. Talking about the differences in installations, which houses and properties are most suitable for each, how much they cost to maintain, what sort of combi boilers and conventional boilers are available on the market, benefits for hot water and how quick. There's so much you could talk about, and that's just for plumbing. That's just one area of plumbing, one particular thing, combi boilers. We could do the same for taps. We could do the same for baths. We could do the same for drains. So in your market, in your business, there are so many potentially awesome blog topics that answer questions that your customers have. So when you're on your competitor sites, have a look at their blogs. Are they answering questions, or are they just talking about stuff that they're doing which no one actually cares about at all? Bathroom e-commerce, just to prove my point about ranking. Okay, new bathroom, search on Google, really competitive. A lot of commercial intent for this sort of phrase. What's the post that's ranking at the top of Google? It's a blog post, right, from Bath Store. So they've added this blog section to their website in order to rank well for this stuff. I want to design a new bathroom, where do I start? Great blog post, absolutely spot on, because someone who searches for that, they're at the start of the process. They don't know anything. So Bath Store is now going to control the education of that buyer as they go through the process of buying. They're going to be the primary source of information, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to sell them some stuff, right? So blog posts, really effective organic traffic thing. So let's do some ripping. Let's have a look at some examples. What I'm going to do is we're going to have a look at a particular market. I've just been reviewing this for a lead, so I thought I'd take a bit of a look at it. So whey protein supplements here, and I've just been scrolling through different websites and having a look at some different sites. So what we're going to imagine that you're in an e-commerce business, you're going to be starting to sell some whey protein supplements, and you want to have a look at what your competitors are doing. Okay, so the first thing we've done is we've had a look for, we used a particular phrase here, whey protein supplements, and we've had a look at what sorts of things come up. Now, bulk powders, these are a site which has come up very prominently. In fact, let me find their actual listing so we can see which page is ranking, because what you'll often notice, remember that it's not always the home page, which shows up on Google. In fact, if your website's well optimized, it rarely is. Okay, here we go. So here's the page that's shown up for whey protein supplements. So first thing that we notice immediately, this is the whey protein category page. Okay, every product on this page is in the whey protein category. Second thing that we notice, we've got this text. What do we say about having text on category pages? Really, really important. Third thing we notice, we've got this navigation thing down the side, which looks pretty good. We've got a bunch of different types of products here. Before we move on, let's have a look at the SEO on this page. So we're going to go behind the scenes and we're going to look for that page title. Remember that section that starts title? The page title here is whey protein, protein powder, bulk powders. Pretty good. We got their main target phrase there, whey protein. That's the phrase that they want to target more than anything. So if we're analysing this market, we'd say, okay, so that's the phrase that they've identified they want to target the most. Here's another variation phrase, protein powder. Okay, so cool, that's useful information. We can use that. And then bulk powders is their brand name. Pretty good page title, well optimized site. Let's have a look at one of their product pages. So pure whey protein, we'll have a look and see how well optimized this page is. So we can see there the page title, pure whey protein, protein powder, bulk powders. Spot on, couldn't really ask for any more. So we're talking about e-commerce product pages and how well optimized they are. Look at the amount of text content on this page. We've got our FAQs here, which is exactly what we want. We've got who is it for, we've got all the benefits that we talked about, we've got a good amount of description here. Decent website, really decent website. Nice testimonials straight away. We've got the why are they different, why are they the best for me. We've got this nice reviews box here, which has a real impact on ranking. We've got reviews embedded here. Really good site. This is going to be a high converting e-commerce site. Let's just check out their blog. I am sure they will have a blog. Let's see where it will be. If they don't, well, I'll be damned. The core. Oh, there's their blog. Oh yeah, so their core is their blog. Interesting. Whether people actually search for that, I don't know. Okay, sweet. What do we see here? We see a really active blog strategy. They're posting every day. Pretty much every day. Every day. And what are they talking about? They're interviewing people. They're interviewing influencers. Why do they interview influencers? Because Rachel Owen is going to have her own following and she's going to post this to her followers and they're going to all comment and like it. So they've given her a guest blog. Great idea. Really good idea. Cool. Good amount of text content there. This is going to be inspirational content which can be shared on social media. We've got recipes, really important in this market. Lots of people like that sort of thing. Great. Marathon prep. So we've got a particular article on marathon prep. So if you're training for a marathon, guess what they're going to be doing? Oh, they might even be recommending some supplements. Nutrition. Actually, they could have done better here. They could be recommended. So we got some products mentioned here, but it's not as many as I would have expected. Right. So we can see they're active on the blog. This is a good competitor. Let's compare this to another one I found. So the Protein Works. So these guys are also ranking for this phrase. Whey protein powder, well-optimized title. We've got this text here, which is useful. We've got the read more things, so there's a lot more text there if you need it. Now, importantly, Google's not indexing all of this text, as it's not giving the invisible text as much visibility as the visible text because it knows that it's hidden. Not such a useful search piece there. Let's just go and have a look at their product pages. In fact, before we do that, let's have a look at their optimizations. We can see there their page title anyway, but I'm just going to do protein powder, buy protein direct for less, the Protein Works. So buy protein direct for less. So they're obviously targeting the phrase there, buy protein. I'm not sure why it says direct. That's not a particularly high authority keyword at all. So protein powder, buy direct protein for less. The protein, it's okay. It's not as lean as the other one. And this phrase here, I'm not 100% convinced by at all. Right, let's have a look at one of their product pages to see how well optimized these are. So again, we've got some information. And look at the amount of text here to sell this product. Good stuff. I like it. We've got these reviews as well. Now, they'd actually do better if they had all those reviews on one page rather than paginating them, but it's not the end of the world. Good amount of information. So there's maybe not so much text on this page, which will explain why it's not ranking as well, but it's still a pretty good, nicely laid out page. Let's have a look at another site which ranked. Now, these sites ranked in the bottom pages of Google, so I searched down past page 8 to find some stuff. So, because I wanted to contrast with some lesser competitors, this is a competitive market. So, this page here, so whey protein, so we've got the same sort of heading, we've got all these products here, and then we've got a bit of text at the bottom here, which is okay. The optimization of this page, so look at their page title. They haven't included their brand name at all. It's not properly formatted, just says whey protein powders. They haven't included any variations. They've got up to 60 characters. They've probably used, 23. So, or even fewer. Whey protein powders, buy protein online, active sports. That's what I go for. They've just decided not to do that properly. So they haven't optimized this page properly. Let's have a look at one of their products. So they're selling products from other manufacturers, which doesn't necessarily put them at a disadvantage. One thing I would be really interested in here is whether this text is unique. So this is another manufacturer. Is this text unique? Did they write this themselves, or did they copy it from somewhere else? So what I'm going to do, Copyscape wasn't actually working for me yesterday, but Copyscape is a tool that you can use to identify if text is unique. So what you do is you just stick in the URL here, and it should tell you if that text has been found on other pages. Okay, cool. So it's actually unique, which is great. So they have written it themselves. You get a lot of people in this particular market who just take the easy approach and they just dump a bunch of text, from Optimum Nutrition's website, and it will never rank. So we don't have anywhere near as much text. We've got a bit, but not a huge amount. There aren't any frequently asked questions, so those aren't going to be matching the syntax of what people are looking for. If we have a look at the page title, we'll see it's just purely the product name, Optimum Nutrition 100% Whey Gold Standard, actually says, 2.27 kilo. So they're obviously targeting this specific product name rather than protein powders, which is going to affect the ranking of the entire site. And they actually don't mention the fact that you get something free in their page title, which would have been a good idea. So nowhere near as well optimized. Let's have a look at this one here. So this was in the real bottom pages of Google. First thing that we notice is actually the home page, which is ranked for some reason. No text content on this page at all. These guys are letting the pictures do the talking, which they think is a good idea. Very bad idea indeed. They're beyond page 10. The next thing that we do, remember, go behind the scenes, and we're looking at this page title. The page title here is Divinita Natural Nutrition. No mention of protein, no mention of supplements, none of that. So we're selling organic, I just saw that, and then it disappeared before I could actually read it, which is a really cool thing to do. Organic whey protein. So I'd be optimizing this page for organic whey protein supplements. That's a sub niche. It's going to have less traffic, but someone who searches for organic whey protein, they are a buyer. Okay, so really poorly optimized, fancy looking site, probably spent way too much on it, but it's not doing the basic job that they need it to do. Let's have a look at their protein category page. Organic, grass-fed, top quality, scientific. Again, no information whatsoever. Very difficult for a user to justify buying from this site if we've never heard of them. They've got some compelling benefits here. Really, really important. Organic, grass-fed, that's amazing. We should be shouting about that from the rooftops and trying to optimize for those phrases, but they're not doing it at all. Let's have a look at one of their product pages. Okay, so we've got a bit of information here, but really not much at all. Less than maybe 100 words of text, so really not enough to sell this. So why would you even do that? Why would you? That's such a small amount of text. Just put it here. Don't make us click. How to use. Again, why would you do it? So really poor. This has been built by a very fancy design agency who's probably spent ages on the layout of the site. It just looks absolutely terrible. Here's their referral scheme in light blue at the bottom of the page. Refer friends, just a complete waste of time. Absolute washout. Okay, so that's how to analyze the pages themselves. Actually, what I want to do is bring back these sites because what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at their link profiles. So when we're checking link profile, as you probably know, Google looks at the number of links coming into a site as a measure of its popularity and authority. So if a site has a lot of good quality links coming in, that site is seen by Google as a high authority, and that's going to make it more likely to rank. So what we need to do is we need to check how many links each of these different websites has, and this will show us another important factor as to why they're ranking. What we're going to do actually before we even do that, I'm going to use a tool called SEMrush. Now SEMrush, just let me log out quickly a second so I can see show you what it looks like for people who are new. So SEMrush will allow you to see where a site is ranking for particular phrases. So let's just grab bulk powders here, and I'm just going to grab this part of the URL. And I'm just going to drop it in here. I'm going to choose the country I want to track their ranking for. So we're going to go UK. And what we'll see here, now this is on the free one. If you upgrade, then you get more keyword rankings. What we're going to see underneath this section here, top organic keywords, if we just click on view full report, we can see here their visibility over time in search. So this is actually measured data. Now it's not complete, but what SEMrush does is it analyzes the rankings of all the sites for these particular phrases and then tracks them. So we can be fairly certain that these guys have been doing some serious SEO work starting in 2015. It's seen some big increases in 2016. They might have even had a new site go live, and then their visibility is continuing to increase. So very, very significant growth for this business. Now the phrases that it's ranking for here, we can see now if you just get a trial, and then you can see all of the other ones and then cancel if you need to. But you need to see all of the keywords that they're ranking for. So we can see the phrases that they're ranking. Whey protein here, then on this column shows us the position on Google. So position 4 means they're 4th on page 1. If it was position 14, that would be 4th on page 2. Position 94 would be position 4 on page 10. Next thing is we see the search volume. Now remember, this is not accurate data, this is guesstimate data. So how many people are searching for this on average per month? The next thing that's of interest is this CPC. So remember earlier we were talking about different keywords and how they have different commercial intent. CPC is an indicator of commercial intent. So this is, on average, how much people are willing to spend to advertise for this particular phrase. So we can see here the CPC for whey protein is $4.17. So that means on average people are willing to spend $4.17 for a visitor if they're advertising, if they search for whey protein. So that tells us that there's a lot of commercial intent. People are spending money as a result of this phrase. We can see here things like glutamine, much lower CPC. That's more of a research phase. Yes, people will be buying glutamine supplements as a result of that, but that shows it's more of a research phase. There's not as much money to be made. BCAAs, lower, smaller number of people serving that market. You can see the smaller search volume, so 14,000 instead of 27,000, which makes the cost per click a bit cheaper, but there's still significant commercial intent there. So this is really interesting, and sending your competitor sites through this is really interesting. Let's try Active Sport Nutrition. Let's see where they're ranking to compare their visibility. Okay. So Sport Nutrition, they're ranking position 10. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing BCAA powder. So that's a more specific phrase than just BCAA. Lower search volume, but in position 9. So not ranking as well, but they're still getting some decent traffic. Looks like they were doing really well in 2014, then probably hit by some sort of penalty, or they launched a new site which did terribly for them, and then they're still trying to recover from it. So this tells me that they're not ranking as well overall. They're also not ranking for the phrases which are like the most competitive in this market, the most commercial in this market, although they do have some visibility for BCAA powder at $2.30. They're ranking on page 1, there's decent search volume. So if I were these guys, I'd probably optimize the home page to make sure that it ranks for BCAA powder, because then I get a bunch of search traffic for that, which would be really useful and help me make some money. And then from there, they could reinvest some of that profit into making more content, making a better website, and doing more SEO. So you can go through different sites and you can see where they're ranking on SEMrush. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a look at their links. So we use a tool called Open Site Explorer from Moz. If you just Google Open Site Explorer, then you will see it. And again, there's a free version. There's also a paid version. I'm just going to quickly use the paid version just because it allows me to show you in a bit more detail some stuff. So again, we're going to do the same process. Now, the reason that we're looking at links is because links are a good indication of how authoritative a site is. So Open Site Explorer will show us how much authority this site has. So the first thing that we're looking at here is the domain authority. The domain authority here is 38 out of 100. So what does this mean? Well, this is a kind of rough estimate of what we'd expect the page rank to be. Now, PageRank is Google's measure of authority and has a significant impact on ranking. So we're saying here, the site is reasonably authoritative, but actually for this market, I would expect it to have higher authority given the ranking that it has. So that tells us that it's actually not really the links that are making an impact for this site, as much as the good quality content that they've got. So where have they got links from, and how much of an impact are these links having? Well, we can see that they've got 74 different websites linking in, and these websites are linking in multiple times because they've got a total of over 9,700 total links. Down in this section here, we can see the website that's linking in. We can see the anchor text, so this is the words used in order to, the words used in the link. And then we've got these columns over here. Domain authority, or DA, is how authoritative this domain is as a whole. So for example, youtube.com, very high authority. Lots of people link to YouTube, so it has a high domain authority of 99. Now the PA is the page authority. This actually has more impact on the site's ranking than domain authority. So the authority of this page is 52, high page authority, and you'll tend to find that sites with a high domain authority have high page authority because obviously that website, YouTube, links to loads of other pages, right? It's got loads of links to other internal pages, so it tends to raise the authority of all of the pages on that domain. So we can see that this is quite a valuable link, although it is a no-follow, so they're not technically getting the SEO juice, but no-follow links still have impact. Then we've got plos.org. Let's have a quick look at that one. That looks like some kind of educational site. We can see that's like a study or something. Decent domain authority. Reasonable page authority as well, so that's good. Dmoz is a just general internet directory. They've got a link from Giphy. And then they've got all of their different location sites. So they've got a German site, Italian site. And obviously these are linking back to the UK site in the footer. Then we've got a link on startups.co.uk, so let's just have a look at some of these. I'm just going to open them in separate tabs. We've got links to Affiliate Window, which will be their affiliate program. Management Today. What I'm really not seeing here is I'm not seeing too many links from really high authority news sites. So things like Guardian, Telegraph, Independent, even shock horror, Mail, Mirror. Sites like this have a lot of authority, and getting on the back of news stories through digital PR, really good way of getting high authority links. So it doesn't look like they've done much of that yet. Someone in their market is going to do that and they're going to have a really good time, but for now it doesn't look like that's a big thing that they're doing. Let's just have a look at what some of these links are. So this looks like so this is like a journal thing. And it looks like they've linked to bulk powders in the body of this. Yeah, there we go. So we've used... Alright, so they're just talking about the materials that they use, and they've ordered chlorine bitartrate. Chlorine bitartrate from bulk powders. So, that's fine. They probably didn't go out there and get this link. They didn't pay these dudes to use their thing. They just happened to pick it up. So accidental link, their most beneficial link other than YouTube is actually an accidental one that they picked up, but they should be doing more outreach. They should be doing digital PR to build this site. Here's an interview with two of the founders, which is a good way of getting in publications like this. If you have a story for your business, or if your competitors have a story, they might be using this strategy. And obviously we get the link there, which is great. So that's the sort of thing that we're looking for. Now, what I want to do is just compare a very poor link profile. For example, Divinita, I would expect them to have a very low number of links and probably nothing from any good quality sources at all. Yeah, so we can see domain authority of 13 out of 100, no websites linking in. So there might be sites linking, but they haven't been discovered yet. Very low authority, which is why this site is languishing in the bottom pages of Google. So that's how to check a site's on-site SEO. And also the off-site SEO. Right, now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at pay-per-click research. So a few different ways of doing this. Let me just log into OpenSite. Let me just log into SEMrush first. So I want to show you what the paid version looks like. And I think it's about $99 a month on the smallest package. So whether it's a priority or not, depends on your budget. But what we're doing with the paid research, the first thing that we want to do is we want to have a look at our specific competitors' ads. And then we're going to take a look at the market in general to see how well people are advertising for your topics as a whole. So we're going to stick with these guys, Active Sport Nutrition and bulk powders. And underneath here, advertising research. So it looks like they're not running any ads at all. Looks like they were running ads previously, but not so much anymore. Let's have a look at someone who we know is going to be advertising. So bulk powders we know are going to be doing some ads. It's too big an opportunity to avoid. So we're just sticking their domain in here. And we will see what sort of ads they're running. So we can see their budget or their visibility has gone up. Remember, traffic cost, this is not an exact thing at all, right? This is not exact. This is extrapolated based on average CPCs, their positions in advertising, and how much they're being seen. Okay, and keywords, again, not completely exhaustive. Traffic, very, very approximate. But what we can see here is we can see some of the ads. So we can see they're advertising for the phrase protein. We can see they're in position 2. Let's have a look and see what the ad is. So 2.5 kilo flavor protein, £24.99. So we know that they're selling on price here. 5-star reviews, we know that they're using credibility. And they're also get a massive £10 off your first order over £20 with discount code Google10. Really interesting. Why are they doing that? They're doing that to stimulate the offer, to stimulate the purchase. They're probably losing money on the first sale. They're probably losing quite a lot of money on the first sale. Why? Because their margins might be 50%. They might be a little bit higher. They're going to be paying per click. Reasonably expensive cost per click here. An indicator of £4.64. Now, if they get a lot of clicks, that's going to go down. But still, they're going to be losing money on this, likely. If people are just buying the £24.99 and they're getting £10 off, they're going to be losing money. So they're obviously happy to do that because they're getting the customer, they're getting the lead, and then they can follow up and then they can get repeat purchases. So that's a useful thing to know if you're going into this market. Let's have a look at their ads for almond butter. So Almond Butter UK, 1 kilo natural paste, and then popular healthy nut butters range, peanut butter, almond and more. It's okay, it's not a particularly fantastic ad. There's no reason why we should buy from them. There's no specific call to action. Yeah, it's just a kind of hit and hope. So not particularly convinced by that one. It looks like they're certainly split testing and trying a lot harder with their protein. Here we can see grass-fed whey protein powder, easy to mix, thick shake, award-winning flavors. So we've got a bit of credibility there. Still not as good as that original protein ad. I think that's the best so far. So this allows you to see what sort of ads they're running and what sort of keywords that they're bidding on and they're appearing on. Very comprehensive advertising campaign here. We can see they're ranking for 11 entire pages of keywords, so over 1,000 keywords that they're showing up for. That doesn't mean they've used 1,000 keywords. They might be using broad match modifiers, and also some of these are like different ads that are showing for the same phrases, so they're split testing and rotating different ads. But this gives you a kind of indication about what they're doing. Now what I'm going to do, we're actually going to have a look and see in this market what sort of adverts we're seeing. So we're going to type in protein powder here. And first thing we notice, we've got 3 Google AdWords ads up at the top here. So we know people are making money. We know they're bidding on this. We also see the product listing ads, so the shopping ads. This is really interesting. This gives us an indication about what price points are working for people. We can see $17.49, $10.49 up to $34.99. So if you've got a product which fits in that category, you need to get it tested here. Really good source of cheap leads for, well, I say cheaper leads for e-commerce purchases. You need to have a well-converting page if you're going to use any of these paid ad channels, because if you're sending people through to that Div Anita site, you may as well just set your money on fire, put your money in a Bentley, and then drive the Bentley off a cliff, setting it on fire as you go, right? You may as well do that because the site's not going to convert anything. If you've got a good performing site, then you want to run some of these paid channels. You have to be willing to break even on the first sale, maybe even lose money on the first sale, but you know you're doing it because you get a customer, and over time you build up that familiarity, which is really what you're after. So let's have a look at these ads then. So Fuel Your Workout with MyProtein, the world's #1 for sports supplement. And the reason, by the way, that I've chosen protein as an avenue to look into here is because it's competitive. A lot of these are online only businesses, so this is competitive. We're looking at good stuff. When you look at your market, particularly if you're B2B, you're probably going to see nothing like this level of competition, which is fantastic. So if you go in here with good quality stuff, then you know you're going to make a completely different impact if your competitors are just hit and hope. So what are people saying here? We've got our call out extensions, we've got a review extension, so this is a decent ad. We've got site link extensions. They've put in a lot of work to this ad, right? They've tested this. The world's #1, there's a clear benefit statement there. Here's an ad with review extensions. We've got these benefit statements here. So fast and free delivery, rated #1, award-winning loyalty points, great savings. So all good benefits, premium customer care. So these are call-out extensions. We've got site link extensions as well. These guys know what they're doing. This is professional AdWords management. Same with these guys. Nice big ads, take up a lot of space. If we have a look at an ad like this one, the sports supplement company providing the UK with the best sports nutrition. Total washout. That ad copy doesn't mention anything about protein powder. There's no reason why we should buy from them at all. Best is completely subjective. Poor looking ad, very small. Here we see 25 grams served, it's all shouty and capitalized. I don't even know how that got through AdWords. Not particularly good ad as well. Doesn't have the review extension. So we can see that a market like this is not particularly competitive. Is competitive for AdWords, but some of these guys are just completely winging it, and they're probably going to be getting terrible results. So that's how you would analyze PPC. So I hope that has been useful. That's how you analyze the SEO competition and your PPC competition. Remember, if you want us to analyze your market and your business for you, then head over to ninjareview.co.uk. We will do a process which takes us about 20 minutes. We film a video for you which outlines where you might want to improve, the areas that you might want to push, and the areas that your competition are particularly weak, and we'll send that over to you as a video so you can work through it. Completely no obligation, completely free of charge. So head over to ninjareview.co.uk if you haven't already.